So I get that this is a preposterous way to look. There are a lot of stereotypes that is associated with looking this way. Yes, I awkwardly bump into a lot of things. Yes, I can reach the cereal box that's on the top shelf. And yes, my knees and my back hurt so much. But the one stereotype that I seem to be getting a lot recently, and I hate it to all hell, is people just look at me and they all think the same thing. That guy would love to help me move. And no, I don't want to help you move. Not at all. I'm going to say yes, because I'm a nice guy and I would like for you to help me move, but I'm going to let you know this right now, I'm going to hate every second of me helping you move. And the other thing too is that I'm not going to be nice, I'm going to talk shit the entire time. Like, who picked out this chair? You, Brett? That's why she's getting divorced, man. This painting, who's like, you again? That's why she's getting the house, man. Make better decisions. No, but that goes back to kind of what the difference between men and women are, is that men will just break each other's balls left, right, up, down, about everything. You could be doing something good for your health. Going to the gym, coming in all big and jacked up top, you can't do shit for your legs. Your buddies aren't going to be like, oh, good for you. They'll be like, did you just ride in here on a chicken, man? What's going on? Whereas, it's kind of like with guys, we want to avoid just admitting that we like each other, so we say mean, hateful shit to each other just to avoid that interaction. Women, it's the exact opposite. They say really nice things to each other, but they don't want to be around each other. Carol will walk in, and Carol's just wearing a nice new top, shorts, and they're like, oh, Carol, I love that top. Oh, yeah, slay queen, those shorts, awesome. Second Carol leaves, slut. I know, who shows that much butt crack? And that is kind of one of the big differences between men and women, is that men will admit, hey, there are differences between us. Women won't. They're like, oh, we do everything a man can do. Meanwhile, Brad's calling me while he's watching his wife give birth, and he's like, hey, Adam, I don't think I can do this one. I was like, Brad, I'm going to let you know right now, man, I can't do it either. And he's like, should we tell the boys? And I think this one's just for the girls. And I'm like, I'll be sure to let all the boys know, Brad. And opinions like that kind of get me in trouble with people. I get at odds with a lot of just random groups of people for some reasons. My least favorite group of people is anybody who thinks that Superman is the best superhero. He's not. He's boring as all get out. He fights for truth, justice, and the American way of life. He has perfect hair at all times. Even when he dies, he wins. Probably has sex exclusively in the missionary position. Just a boring person. I get the same vibe from anybody who's a Superman fan as anybody who's been a Yankees fan who's never lived in New York City, or you're a Patriots fan who's never lived in Massachusetts. It's you're a bandwagon fan. We get it. You made one decision about this. Who wins the most? Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah. That's so boring to me. The Superman I want to see the angsty 13, 14-year-old Superman who is just uncontrollably hormonal, getting boners in history class, just ripping straight through his jeans because denim can't contain a cock of steel. Martha's in the laundry just holding a pair of jeans that look like Swiss cheese. Clark, bud, do we need to talk about something? He wakes up with morning steel because that's not wood, rolls over, cuts his bed in half. Looks like the OK Corral, holes all over his walls from the wet dreams. And that brings my point, who's the real hero in the Superman comic book? It should be Lois Lane. Well, at least her vagina. Because, how do you take a super pounding and still live? Does he have kryptonite condoms? Is that how that all happens? I just imagine the back of Lois's head blown out, in the Dawn of the Dead after a blowjob. I like characters who are really messed up, and that has a lot to do with my dad. My dad taught me everything about being a good, decent person in this world, good relationships, how to make a good living, how to make right choices. My dad was a crackhead who got murdered in a coke deal when I was 6 years old. So I followed his example 0%. I did the exact opposite. But what that had, the effect that had was that my family became really, really tight-knit. We moved in with my aunt, her 2 daughters, my mom and my sister. And when you're that tight-knit, you just run out of the really vapid stuff to talk about. You go deeper. And that sounds really cool. You end up being really honest with each other. But when you come home from college after your junior year and your mom's sitting at the table with a beer, she's just like, so Adam, how many people have you slept with? Not sure my mom should be asking me that question. So I gave her the number. And she wasn't happy. For your mom, any number that's more than one, the one you're going to marry, she's never going to be approval of. But me being the kind of asshole that I am, I immediately turned around on her. I'm like, well, what about you, Cheryl? How many people have you slept with? That was a mistake. My mother was born in the 50s, which meant she had her adolescence in the 60s, and her early adulthood in the 70s. She did not give me a number. Thankfully, she gave me an out. She leans over the table, locks eyes with me. What decade, Adam? I'm Adam Cole, and you guys have been very kind. Thank you.